Let's talk about Kamala Harris's book. She's got a book out. I guess it opens up today, but last night she gave an exclusive to Rachel Maddow, who, at which time, was kind of mild in her questioning. I'm not sure she read the book. I mean, I've seen more excerpts. She seemed kind of, and they talked more about what was going on in politics. But here's Kamala Harris on why she why she regrets not being more aggressive and telling Joe Biden not to run.
So when I write this, it's because I realize that I have and had a certain responsibility that I should have followed through on. Which is, and so when I talk about the recklessness, as much as anything, I'm talking about myself. There was so much, as we know, at stake. And as I write, you know, where my head was at the time is that it would come off as being completely self-serving.
Right now, you wrote this book, allegedly. You should be able to talk very fluently about it. And she's still speaking in parables and phrases. And you don't understand the point that she's trying to make. And it takes her so long to finally make some sort of a point.
Well, why say this now? Is it because she wants to run for office down the road and she's defending why she didn't tell Joe Biden he should get out of the race? She's saying she's blaming herself now. But earlier, where was this conversation when she was running for president? Because she said, oh, no, nothing's wrong with Joe Biden. He's fine. He's fine. She runs for president. What if she had won? Would she be saying this?
God help us.
Well, you know, it's interesting. She says, when she announced, well, this is what some of the bigger names said. Barack Obama, saddle up, Joe. I hope Joe would do just that, but you have to earn it. Michelle and I are supportive, but we'll not put our finger on the scale. Gretchen Whitmer, I believe you'll win, but I need to let the dust settle. Thanks. Nancy Pelosi, I'm sad about Joe. My heart is broken, but now it's you. It's important that this process, we have a great bench. Bernie Sanders, enough on abortion, more working class. Gavin Newsom, hiking. J.B. Pritzker, I'm governor of Illinois. I'm the convention host. I can't commit. So
I love Gavin Newsom.
Have a united party.
I love Gavin Newsom. I'm hiking. We'll call you back. And he never did. She was talking about Democrats less than enthusiastic when she was asking for endorsements. She also writes that she was sitting in the Situation Room at the White House with Joe Biden. Yeah. And Joe Biden said, if for any reason I decide to drop out, I would support you, but only if that's what you want. It occurred to me that I haven't asked you. And she writes that he had clearly rehearsed the speech. It wasn't spontaneous. Then she says, I'm fully behind you, Joe. But if you decide not to run, I'm ready. And I would give it my all. I would give it all I've got because Trump has to be beaten. Then a week later, he called her to say, I'm leaving the race.
All I'm going to say is, can you blame these people for not wanting her? Did you see her performance last night? She wasn't prepared at all. She's had so much time, almost 9 months to think about this, reflect about it. She apparently wrote about it, and she didn't rise to the occasion. I kept thinking, thank God she's not president, right, as she was speaking last night.
She was much stronger as a senator.
And an AG.
Yeah. You know, you talk about the fracture with Joe Biden. It is fractured. She said for a while there was a plan she talked about believing it would have hurt her ability to lock down delegates. She needed to see. Joe Biden immediately said, I'm going to wait a while. I want the dust to settle, and then I'm going to name you. He says, no, I need to lock down the delegates. And she said he had to wait 11 minutes to address the nation. It hurt. He also spoke for nearly an hour at the convention, and he barely mentioned her. At the remember this, the Democratic convention? She says it was all about his legacy speech. But if we waited for some personal stories about working with me and what qualities, we all waited for it. In the end, he barely endorsed me. So, and she went on to complain about him. These two will never talk again.
No,
they'll never. I
this
mean,
this is worse than Obama-Biden relationship.
Then she was asked by Rachel Maddow about Pete Buttigieg, because in her book she wrote something to the effect of, I didn't think that it was too risky for the two of us to run together on a ticket, even though he was qualified. Listen.
In one of the most hotly contested elections for president of the United States against someone like Donald Trump, who knows no floor, to be a black woman running for president of the United States and as a vice presidential running mate, a gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk no matter how, I've been an advocate and an ally of the LGBT community my entire life. So it wasn't about, yeah, right. So it wasn't about any prejudice on my part. I think Pete is a phenomenal public servant. And I think America is and would be ready for that. But when I had to make that decision with 2 weeks to go, and maybe I was being too cautious.
Or maybe just come out and say it. You believe the country is racist. You believe the country is homophobic. Just come out and say it. Don't speak in a parable about it. Maddow was clearly annoyed by her answer there, but still wanted to be protective of her. The second thing also, guys, she's still with the fascism talk and the dictatorship. A man has just been assassinated, part of the movement, and she doesn't tone down the rhetoric. And they keep saying Donald Trump needs to tone it down, yet his enemies, the people on the other side of the aisle, continue to say the same stuff.
Right, and she said she won't commit about 2028, and they'll just let that go. Also, she came out and said about Joe Biden, she made a major speech at the Ellipse, but Joe Biden put on the MAGA hat. That became the story. And then she finds out, when she gets some momentum, that she called Trump supporters garbage. She had to deal with that for a while. So she says that Biden, clearly, his gaffes hurt big time.
She also wrote about Joe Biden's response to Gaza. She writes in the book, I had pleaded with Joe when he spoke publicly on this issue to extend the same empathy he showed to the suffering of the Ukrainians to the suffering of innocent Gazan civilians. But he couldn't do it. While he could passionately state, I am a Zionist, his remarks about innocent Palestinians came off as inadequate and forced.
So Joe Biden again split the difference because he was not supportive of Israel. He was holding back weapons. At the same time, to his wide left, he was not doing enough to condemn the Israelis for making after their 1,200 people were killed brutally and over 200 were taken hostage for coming back strong in Gaza. So either make a strong stance, but don't stay in the middle.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.